All right, I'm going to go ahead and get the bad news out the way first. Welcome back to the Dak Attack Show. Zack Martin could end up retiring after this season. But don't worry, Cowboys fans have plenty to look forward to for the upcoming 2024 season for the Dallas Cowboys, as there's some interesting things going on at Dallas Cowboys minicamp and some storylines that we need to keep our eye on going into training camp. Be sure to subscribe for more Dallas Cowboys content on the regular with a little bit of Mavericks content sprinkled in there. And check out all my other socials on IG, Twitter, at the Dak Attack Show. And let's get right into it. Now, for real though, y'all check all that stuff out, bro. I be saying that, and y'all don't actually be doing it, bro. I will quit saying it on these videos once a good portion of y'all have actually listened to what I've asked y'all to do, bro. All you gotta do is go check out my other socials, bro. My Twitter is literally at Dak Attack Show. My IG is the same thing, bro. It's easy to find, and the logo is the same on all my platforms, bro. I don't understand. Okay, we talking about minicamp. My bad. Yeah, so like I was saying, it's not 100%, but Zack Martin does feel like this could possibly be his last season playing in the National Football League, as he thinks he's time for him to hang up the cleats. And while that is sad, Zack Martin has been an all-pro guard for the Dallas Cowboys for years now, and he's been one of the most consistent and reliable players on the team, and he will surely be missed. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the best time this could possibly actually happen to the Cowboys, because I genuinely don't think that the search for our next right guard is going to go on too long. Between the young guys that are coming into camp and guys like TJ Bass that we already have on the roster, I'm pretty sure that Zack Martin's replacement is already here, and they won't have to spend a premium draft pick to bring in another right guard. So while Zack Martin will surely be missed, and we love all of our Cowboys, and if he does and when he does actually retire, I'm sure we'll all have emotional tributes going out and paying homage to the career that he had for the team. This, as a fan, is probably the best possible time to lose a player of this caliber, because the Cowboys have done what they are supposed to do, and they've prepared for this, and they have guys ready to step up and take that position. And I think that guys like a TJ Bass or even a Nathan Thomas, I know Nathan Thomas, I think he's a tackle though, but Nathan Thomas, he's another young guy that the Cowboys brought in, and he's been getting high marks all offseason. Zack Martin has been giving these guys a lot of credit all offseason. He said these guys have come and done a really nice job, and really credit to Chin, which is the offensive line coach, one of the offensive line coaches, and Coach Mike Solari. They've been on top of it in the meeting room and out of the field asking great questions, Martin said. These guys can play. Tyler Guyton can move, and Nathan Thomas and Coop are big, strong, physical guys inside. Okay, so that is key right there. He referred to Nathan Thomas and Coop as big, strong, physical guys inside. So Nathan Thomas could be also getting groomed for that offensive guard spot as well. So keep that in mind, guys. All right, he said these guys are going to help us for sure. And with Dak Prescott being sacked 39 times last season, I promise y'all, I did not realize that Dak was on his back that often. Pause. No Diddy, no Drizzy. But I did not realize that he was getting sacked that often in the game. And yeah, it was time for us to bring in some new blood and some guys that were hungry, ready to kind of still earn their star in a sense, and come in to protect QB1, because we can't have Dak out there getting killed, man. We got an all-pro quarterback on the cusp of becoming a league MVP, and I think that this season is actually set up perfectly for Dak to be the league MVP, as he's having the best offseason that he's had under Mike McCarthy so far, and it's mainly just because of continuity. This is the second year of Mike McCarthy's offense. Dak Prescott is a lot more comfortable. He essentially has had the same wide receiver group now for the last 2 seasons consistently, and now he's getting more comfortable with some of his younger guys. We saw the connection with CeeDee Lamb finally start to blossom. He's getting more comfortable with Brandon Cooks. He's been making big plays with Brandon Cooks all offseason in the mini camps, and I think in the OTAs and during the walkthroughs and stuff like that. Dak and Brandon Cooks have had a good connection just overall, right? So Brandon Cooks, Dak Prescott, Jalen Brooks, Jalen Cropper is another name that popped up. That's another name that Cowboys fans need to keep an eye on. Jalen Cropper is another name that has been popping up consistently from people. And usually, if you hear multiple people calling the same name and the same number, that means that that's someone to keep your eye on going into training camp. At this stage in the offseason, we're not talking about someone that's going to be catching touchdowns in December. We're talking about going into training camp, someone that could potentially make the roster, which would subsequently push someone that we didn't think was going to get pushed off the roster. So that's why kind of paying attention to these under the radar names right now, that's why that's so important, because it could lead to some surprises on the roster, and that could affect how the Cowboys go about trying to fill out the rest of the roster. But the first thing they need to do is they need to affect how they filling out these damn contracts for Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, man. Michael Parsons is going to come. He's going to get his money, man. But they need to be figuring out how they going to fulfill these damn contracts, bro. I'm tired of talking about the contracts. I'm tired of the drama, Jerry. It's been too much. It's been too much for my spirit. My chest starting to hurt. My head been hurting. Not really, but I know some people out there feeling like that because they probably stressed the hell out, Jerry. And I'm speaking for them, too. I'm giving a voice to the voiceless, Jerry. Fix this shit, Jerry. Damn, Jerry. But Mike McCarthy has been saying that Dak Prescott is having his best offseason. Dak Prescott agrees with that. He says his focus is on point. And to be honest, Dak is going to be coming into the year with that dad power. So I already think that Dak is going to get an upgrade just off of that. Yes, he knew the baby was coming last year. But it's different when you got that little ball of joy looking at you and she like, it's completely different. You just power up and you hook up, man. And I think Dak is going to hook up this offseason and this in his regular season and hopefully in the playoffs. And he'll get to make Tom Brady eat his damn words. We ain't going to talk about that. I'm going to save that clip for hopefully later in the season when Dak gives me a chance to really get some clap back, all right? I can't go at the GOAT when it ain't time to go at the GOAT, all right? I know some of y'all was probably expecting me to go in on that Tom Brady thing. This is a tangent. It has nothing to do with minicamp. But I can't go at the GOAT unless it's time to go at the GOAT, man. Tom Brady can say what the hell he want to say right now. All right. But either way, Dak, great offseason. We're not going to talk about Trey Lance. You know why we're not going to talk about Trey Lance? You know why I'm not going to update you on Trey Lance? Because nobody else in the NFL, not the Bills fans, not the Bengals fans, not the Jaguars fans, well, maybe the Jaguars fans because they're poverty, not any other fan base, not the Ravens fans, none of those fan bases give a damn about what the backup quarterback is doing. You know why? Because they have an all-pro level quarterback on their damn rosters already, or a Pro Bowl level quarterback, or a franchise quarterback on their roster. And it's disrespectful, man. And I'm not going to contribute to that. Y'all can go and look for all them other sources that's going to continue to feed you stuff about the backup quarterbacks on the team. I'm not going to do that because it's disrespectful to the all-pro guy that we got, bruh. Until it becomes a real situation where I feel like Trey Lance can seriously take Dak Prescott's spot, where he seriously could be potentially starting for the Cowboys, I don't care. I'm not talking about it, bruh. I already know what I think this is. This is simply trying to drive up a price tag for a guy, and they could potentially trade him, get some assets. Something very interesting. One of the secret weapons that minicamp has revealed for the Dallas Cowboys. One of the secret weapons, Ryan Flournoy, could be a very, 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 very interesting piece of this team by the time the actual regular season comes around. Not just training camp, but by the time the actual regular season comes around. Here's some things about Ryan Flournoy that we need to kind of keep our eye on here. For one, let's take a look at his RAS score. For those of y'all that don't know what a RAS score is, it's a relative athletic score. It's a metric that measures a football player's athleticism in relation to their position. It uses data from the NFL Combine, including height, weight, wingspan, and drill exercises to calculate a numerical value between 1 and 10 for each of 10 categories. The categories include size, explosiveness, speed, and agility. Each measurement is worth 10% of the average score, but height and weight account for about 20%, and the 40-yard dash and its splits account for about 30%. A minimum of 6 measurements is required to calculate a score. All right, so this is essentially telling you how much of a hoss of an athlete a guy is, right? And how prototypical he is for the position. This man, Ryan Flournoy, almost scored perfectly on the RAS. He has the highest RAS score of any drafted wide receiver in Dallas Cowboys history. over Dez Bryant, even barely over Dez Bryant. CDs was actually pretty low, so that's an indicator that the rod score isn't necessarily an indicator of success in the NFL. It's just telling you whether or not a guy has the tools, and that is important to know that Ryan Flanoy has the tools, especially when he's been one of the guys making plays in practice. All right, that is very, very interesting because Patrick Walker told us, I'm going to go ahead and say I believe Ryan Flanoy is going to turn heads in Oxnard. The plays he's making thus far largely hint at it. Today, a back pylon grab for a TD was at the height of his vertical, and the cornerback never stood a chance despite being glued to him on the jump. Flanoy elevated and snatched it at the high point after a crisp route, then battled his own momentum by contorting on the way down to get both toes tapped in bounds. I expect him to make some waves. Very, very interesting stuff here. Ryan Flanoy is someone to keep an eye on. We've heard his name over and over and over again and again. Remember what I just said? If you consistently hear a guy's name from multiple sources, then there's a reason that you're hearing their names. And he's a 6'2" guy with great athleticism, and he runs a 4.44 40, right? So you got a bigger receiver, slightly bigger body frame, faster dude. I think that he could seriously end up being a weapon for Dak Prescott. We know Dak Prescott likes these type of receivers, the Bryce Butlers, the Noah Browns. We've seen him throw a larger portion of passes to these guys than what most of us fans think that they should be getting. But he likes that type of build of a receiver. I think that Ryan Flanoy is someone that could potentially come and get that wide receiver 4 slot, kind of jump over a Jalen Brooks. I think Jalen Tolbert is pretty settled into that wide receiver 3 spot right now. But keep an eye on Ryan Flanoy coming into training camp and leaving out of Dallas Cowboys mini camp. And the last thing I kind of wanted to touch on here is, y'all saw it briefly, just another big play alert. And this is just something to remind y'all that the Cowboys did make an offseason move, adding Eric Kendricks. And Eric Kendricks' coverage ability is already on full display. Today in 707 drills, a Cowboys mini camp from within the red zone, Dak Prescott dropped back and threw a dart to the middle flat, but Kendricks fully extended to cause a tip drill. Donovan Wilson going full horizontal in the back of the end zone for the interception. Kendricks and the defense went crazy celebrating. Revenge, next play, Dak Prescott threaded the needle through traffic to find a streaking Brandon Cooks behind goal line coverage for a touchdown. Dak and the offense went crazy celebrating. Already a training camp feel to these reps. This is what you want to hear. This is what you want to hear. You want to hear that there's a training camp feel, that you want to hear that the players understand that there is an added level of urgency to this upcoming season. With all the coaches being on 1-year deals, a lot of guys wanting to get paid next season. Some guys need to be paid this season, right? There's a lot of urgency to this upcoming season, and I think that the thing that Cowboys fans should be the most excited about for this upcoming season is that technically and realistically speaking, they have filled every hole that they needed to fill outside of getting another really, really reliable one tech. If they can somehow scrape up a one tech, maybe someone gets unexpectedly cut from another team during training camp or whatever. If they can get another big back in that middle to go on that defensive line to put his hand in that ground, I think that the Cowboys could seriously be in for a very, very exciting season. I'm not ready to predict how far they will go. I know I already gave y'all my record prediction, 13-4, 12-5 in that range. But I'm not ready to predict how far they're going to go in the playoffs until I see exactly what players we have. And then I'll give my prediction after training camp is over. And by the way, training camp begins July 22nd. It ends August 22nd. It's going to be in Oxnard, California. And your boy may be out there. All right. But either way, appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me know down in the comments below, what are your biggest takeaways from Dallas Cowboys minicamp so far? No, we're not going to talk about all of the Michael. We talked about the Michael Parsons stuff enough. We know CeeDee Lamb's holding out. There's no need to talk about that stuff, bro. We already know about the contract situations. We're not going to continue beating a dead horse. But let me know your thoughts down below about what you're most excited about with the team. Let's get some positivity going, bro. We got to counterbalance the negative with some positive. I don't like to see too many negative videos go up on my channel in a row. We want to get some positive in there, give us some hope, talk about some guys that we need to be excited about, because we do have some guys on our team that we need to be excited about. The rookies, man, the rookies. They're having a great offseason, and Mike McCarthy said it himself. This is the best class of rookies that he's seen for the Dallas Cowboys, just from an overall preparation standpoint on the field. In general, he said this is the best crop of rookies that he's seen since he's been here, and I'm encouraged. I think I personally have high hopes for this rookie class. I like the fact that John Stevens Jr. is coming back. I like the fact that Demarvion, Overshown, they're all on track from their injuries. That's the latest news as far as injury updates from minicamp. Is Demarvion, Overshown, Trevon Diggs, and John Stevens Jr., which is a really big, athletic, long-rangey tight end that I think a lot of people kind of forgot about. All three of those guys are on schedule for training camp. Trevon is the only one of those three guys that I believe is possible to start training camp on the physically unable to perform list. But beyond that, we still same old Cowboys. I'll see you guys on the next one.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still the ball? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still the boys. Woo, push on my bullshit. Hey!